practice starts tomorrow. You've got some boys to replace on this team. You had a couple of big linemen last year that are gone. How's it look as far as replacements are concerned?
Well, it's never really what you lose, I guess, John. You're right. It's what you've got to replace him with. Now, we're in a process of reshuffling, really. Bob Greenlee, who played defense for us last year, we're bringing to the offensive line. Of course, Bob is another big, strong Ball State lineman and will very aptly replace anyone, I think. David Wilhelm is still back from last year's offensive line. And then in guards, of course, we don't have another Eli Gaddis or Ray McDonald, either one who have been our two starting guards for the last 2 years. But we've got 4 or 5 boys that are good candidates. A young boy by the name of Chris Begonia that's not near in that size category, but an awfully good football player. Chris is from South Bend, and we thought he did as fine a job this spring as you could ask for. Dale Woodkey, who has been backing Ray McDonald up for the last 2 years, will be a senior this year and is going to play for us. John Creech from Muncie boy has played defense for us last year, is another one of the guards that's in contention. And so we've got boys like this that we think are good football players. They're just not 250-pound guards, that's all.
Now, maybe you don't want to give any secrets away and answer this question, but do you have a weak spot this year that's worrying you at all, or where do you say your weakest spot is?
Well, I think our weakest spot is in depth in linemen. We've got several big boys on the squad. Doug Brown, Richard Hentz, Scott Giese, Gary Leitz. Boys like this have never played for us, but they're big kids, 240, 250-pound boys, and we really don't know how good they are. So we're hoping that if some of those kids can come through, we'll be all right. So what we've really done is loaded our offensive team with all the veterans, and we've taken all of these big boys that really haven't played for us any, and perhaps because they've been back second and third strings and we haven't got as much work, and we're putting them all and putting them on the spot and putting them on the front four on our defensive group to start with. Now, we ought to know in about 10 days. And if any of those 8 boys that we're starting there right now in those front 4 are too deep, if any of them can grab a spot off for themselves, we've got it made. If we get 2 out of that group that can really make starters for us, why, we'll be fine. Our linebacker situation looks like it's the best it's been in the last 2 years. I'd say our defensive secondary is the best it's been in the last 2 years. We're too deep in our offensive line right now unless we have to take some of them over to the defensive unit. So I'd say the one spot that's critical with us that we're worrying about is our defensive front 4 right now.
I talked to your 3 quarterbacks. They're kind of optimistic they're going to get a chance to throw the ball this year. Is there any basis for their optimism? Is that right?
Well, of course, every coach has his own ideas. Our idea really is to win, first of all, and we'll do whatever it takes to win. We are in position, formation-wise and personnel-wise, to throw the football. If the defense gives us the passing game, we may throw 35, 40, 45 times a ball game. However, if the defense is giving us the run, why, we may only pass 6 or 7. We'll do whatever the defense dictates to us. And yes, I expect they'll get thrown quite a bit.
Now, there's one place that you don't have to worry about filling this year. That's your halfback spot. You got a pretty fair halfback over here in Amos Van Pelt. Amos, how's the team look to you this year? You've been running around with the boys this afternoon and after spring training?
Well, it's as we've mentioned before, it's not like last year's team won't be as big, but I think everybody will make up in a desire.
You looking forward to a good season?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks, both of you.
Thanks, John.